हेलो एवरीवन, वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग। वेलकम टू टेक्स्ट बुक सुपर कोचिंग फॉर रेगुलेटरी बॉडीज एंड आज के सेशन में आप सबका स्वागत है। टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस इंपॉर्टेंट करंट अफेयर इवेंट्स फ्रॉम न्यूज़पेपर एज वेल एज from the other ways. So we are going to cover both the sources, and end of the session we are going to revise the MCQs. Revision किया जाएगा regarding the whatever the news we are going to discuss today. So I'll start with the session. Session की शुरुआत करते हैं, session को start करते हैं. Once again, very good morning to you all. And before going to start this session, those who are yet to subscribe our channel, please एक बार channel को भी subscribe कर दीजिएगा. Okay, so we'll start with the session. The first thing first, we'll talk about one news which is really very important. Basically, this news is from May 2024. In May 2024, Government of India, Finance Ministry created one committee, and that committee was headed by SBI's Deputy Managing Director. The name of SBI's Deputy Managing Director who led this committee is Surinder Rana. So Surinder Rana, he led this committee. In this committee, the representative from different banks, for example, the representative from the Punjab National Bank, Union Bank, Central Bank of India, they were all the members of this committee. Now this committee gave some recommendation. So basically in the month of May, Government of India decided to create one committee so that the co-lending concept in our country was not performing well. So why it is not performing well, what we should do to make it good, to make it workable. So we created this committee called as a co-lending committee headed by SBI and SBI's Deputy Managing Director Surinder Rana. Now, what is co-lending? First of all, co-lending when banks and NBFCs together providing loan, that is called as a co-lending. So banks are taking certain risk, NBFCs taking certain risk, and together they are providing loan to some sectors. But it was not that successful because the co-lending concept was introduced in India in 2018 by RBI, Reserve Bank of India introduced it in 2018. But unfortunately, it was not that successful. And for that reason, what we should do, that's why in May 2024, Government of India Finance Ministry created this committee. Now the recommendations of this committee is are here, and one of the first recommendation is that SBI-led panel against 18% GST on the co-lending. So what are the co-lending activities performed by the NBFC and the banks? There is a 18% GST. So SBI-led panel is saying this GST percentage is hampering the whole process because NBFCs are not comfortable with that. Even the borrowers are not comfortable with that, and that's why 18% GST should not be there. We should reduce it, or we should charge 0% GST. That is one of the recommendation. The second recommendation of this co-lending authority or co-lending committee is that this co-lending should be restricted to priority sector lending right now. Right now, in the present situation, this co-lending should be only focusing on priority sector lending. So we have 8 priority sectors in India. Okay, one is agriculture, another is MSME, housing, education, then social infrastructure, renewable, export, as well as others, that is weaker section. So 8 sectors are there. So this panel is saying right now the banks and NBFCs should focus on the priority sector lending for co-lending activities right now, and latter phase we can work with other sectors also. Now another point which is mentioned by this, that each bank should have a dedicated department for the co-lending, that every bank should have a separate department which will tie up with the NBFCs, and then they will perform the co-lending activity. So dedication will be there, so performance will be much better. The third point which is mentioned, establishing a common channel between banks and NBFC. First, we should have different department in banks for co-lending. Another thing is that whenever the co-lending activity is being performed, for that activity there should be a common channel for NBFC and banks, so they can access through that channel, they can get the information through that channel. Otherwise, what happens, banks are using their channels for delivering the loan, by recovering the loan, and then NBFC is taking a data from there, or NBFC asking data from there. So there is the operational issues, there are so many operational constraints, and for that reason there should be a single channel when it comes to co-lending for NBFC as well as bank. So operational issues यहाँ पे नहीं आएंगे. Separate appraisal and the risk assessment process should be there. Now risk assessment, whenever we take loan from the banks, जब भी हम बैंक से लोन लेते हैं, banks are having one concept called as a risk analysis. They are first vetting out the risk कितना है, risk weightage कितना है, and then they are keeping certain amount of money aside. When it comes to co-lending, there should be a separate risk assessment, because there are two authorities involved. दो authorities यहाँ पे involved है, NBFC as well as a bank, and they're giving loan to the priority sectors. So in that situation, the risk assessment should be completely different. You can't assess the risk just like a normal loan, because there are many different factors involved here. So that's why risk assessment should be completely different. Then co-lending is expected to enhance the credit flow to the unserved and the underserved section of the economy. Like I have mentioned, it is focusing on priority sector lending. So priority sector lending should be the major focus of this. That is the criteria they have mentioned. Again, the co-lending committee was created by the government of India. SBI's Deputy Managing Director Surinder Rana was the head of this. In this committee, there are other representatives from different government banks were there. They gave their recommendations, and the recommendations for co-lending, the one of the first recommendation is the headline that GST should be reduced. The second is these co-lending activities should be focusing only on the priority sector lending. The third thing is there should be a separate department in banks. There should be a common channel between NBFC and the bank. There should be separate risk assessment, and last, that it should be moreover for the betterment of underserved a section of our country, and that's the case. That's it. That will be enough for the exam point of view, or either it's RBI grade B or the normal banking exams. For all the exam, this will be more than enough. Of course, the questions can be asked in the mains exam regarding the co-lending. So what is co-lending, how it works, what are the problems we facing under the co-lending. So these questions can be there in the exam when it comes to the mains or the answer writing. When it comes to pre, obviously the one liner or the one marker question can be there, as well as in phase 2 there can be a 2 marker question in case of objective. So just keep that in mind. We'll go to the next news. The next news is about government extended ESIC's welfare scheme for 2 years. ESIC's Employees State Insurance Corporation, it was created in 1952. So ESIC in 2018 created one scheme called as the Atal Bimit Vyakti Kalyan Yojana. So Atal Bimit Vyakti Kalyan Yojana, this Yojana was created in year 2018. Now Government of India or the ESIC under the Labor Ministry, ESIC comes under Labor Ministry, they decided to extend the scheme for 2 years. 2 साल के लिए scheme extend करने की बात की है. Again I am repeating, ESIC comes under Labor Ministry, Employees State Insurance Corporation. It works in the favor of employees, especially labor class employees. उनके फेवर में वर्क करते इंश्योरेंस और दी हेल्थ प्रोटेक्शन प्रोवाइड किया जाता है. They created one scheme called as Atal Bimit Vyakti Kalyan Yojana in 2018. Now, what is the purpose of the scheme? Under this particular scheme, what happens basically? The scheme provides relief payment up to 90 days once in a lifetime to insured person when they are rendered unemployed to the extent of 50% of the average per day earning during the previous 4 contribution periods. So basically 90 days तक का आपको unemployment benefit मिल जाता है. So suppose for example you are unemployed, you are not having job, so 90 days तक का unemployment benefit will be provided under this particular scheme created by Employees State Insurance Corporation which is created in 1952. The scheme is of 2018. The scheme was like kind of a going to be end this year, but government decided that we will extend this scheme for more 2 years. So extension is being given to this particular scheme by the Government of India, by the ESIC. That will be enough for the exam point of view. Remember, 90 days unemployment benefit will be provided to the employees, to the labor class, if there is any kind of unemployment situation happens in the economy, and that's the benefit. But this 90-day benefit will be once in a lifetime, not always once in a lifetime. So once you got this benefit in the like previous time, then again you will not be eligible for such kind of benefit under this particular scheme. So iska extension government ne kiya hai. So that is a case regarding this particular news. Now the third news is developing. The third news is not yet mature, it's a developing news. The news is regarding, because right now all over the world there is a kind of a situation, a panic situation when it comes to crude oil. Because Israel, Iran, Israel, Lebanon, the war is kind of a brewing right now. The situation is very bad, and due to that situation, there can be a crisis when it comes to the crude oil. And that's why many countries, including India, So government to lease out the crude oil storage amid the Gulf tension. So there is a Gulf tension, there is a issue. That's why government of India decided to lease out some spaces so that we can store the oil, we can keep the oil with ourselves. So for example, 2,24,000 tons of oil storage space in Vishakhapatnam crude storage facility, 7,60,000 tons, one of the two caverns on the Mangalore, the space to be leased for 2 years with a 1-year extension. So government of India lease out two spaces. One is in Vishakhapatnam, another is in Mangaluru. Okay, and both the places will be useful to keep oil, to store the crude oil. So in case if there is a crisis, if in case is there will be some situation, then that time we will be having some storage with us. So that is the purpose of government of India. Again, Hardeep Singh Puri sir, he is a Petroleum Minister of India. He recently issued one statement that right now there is no crisis situation. Right now there is no problem when it comes to the supply, because we are purchasing we are purchasing huge amount of oil from Russia these days. Earlier we used to purchase from Iran. Right now we are also purchasing from Iran, but now we change our focus and we are purchasing huge amount of oil from Russia. And Russian supply is very steady, very good. So right now we are not facing any kind of crisis, but you never know. We should be ready for the future impact, and for that reason we decided to lease out these two places where we can store the oil. That's the only news. That's why I mentioned this is a growing or developing news right now. Questions will not be asked on this particular part, but at least you should know what is going on in the country right now when it comes to oil sector. Now the next news is not directly from the newspaper. It's about the Confederation of Indian Industry, CII. They recently gave one index called as the Business Confidence Index. Okay, CII, BCI increased to a 2-quarter high level, 68.2 in Q2 of the current fiscal. Now, Confederation of Indian Industry is a group of industries. They gave one survey. Survey's name is called Business Confidence Index. So how much confidence is there in the economy? How much confidence is there when it comes to the India's economic growth? And that angle they gave this survey. The first question will be asked, Business Confidence Index is given by which of the following authority? Now, according to this survey, increased to 2-quarter high, 68.2 in Q2. So right now, if we'll talk about the current fiscal year, so confidence is little bit high. The confidence is actually in a positive side that in the Q2, the country is going to perform well. Companies are going to perform well. And that's the pointer which is mentioned here. Increase in index is due to improving domestic demand, weak external environment, and increasing shipping costs. So why there will be a positive sign for the companies? First of all, demand, domestic demand is increasing. If domestic demand is increasing, obviously companies will be very happy and they are going to get the better benefit. Next, the external factors, the impact of external factor is not that much right now. During COVID-19 or the early Ukraine-Russia war or the early Hamas-Israel war, the impact was very high. But right now, people are not that much worried about this external factor because it is going on. ये फैक्टर्स जितने लंबे चलेंगे उतना इंपैक्ट उसका कम हो जाता है और वही फैक्टर यहाँ पे. एंड थर्ड थिंग इज दैट इंक्रीजिंग शिपिंग कॉस्ट. सो दैट इज द केस. दैट्स व्हाई देयर विल बी मेजर बेनिफिट्स व्हेन इट कम्स टू द इंडियन मार्केट. डोमेस्टिक मार्केट को बेनिफिट काफी ज्यादा रहेगा. यही सारे फैक्टर्स यहाँ पे मेंशन किए गए. It covered over 2,000 firms of varying size across all industry sectors and the regions. So near about 2,000 companies का डेटा यहाँ पे कलेक्ट किया गया और उसके भरोसे यहाँ पे कॉन्फिडेंस थोड़ा सा बूस्ट हुआ है, ऐसा उनका कहना है. This data is completely focusing on companies, firms and businesses and the confidence of the businesses regarding the Indian economy, confidence of the businesses, what will happen with their business in future. So under that, the data is saying 68.2%. Earlier it was 67.3%. So there is an increase of almost 1% when it comes to this particular index. That's it. That will be enough for the exam point of view. We'll move forward. We saw this news yesterday. The $750 million currency swap agreement. We'll just revise it once. Currency swap agreement, like I have mentioned yesterday. So we are replacing one currency with the another currency. Especially we are replacing dollar with other currency because if there are no proper exchange rate, if their exchange rates are not good for the economy, so we can use this particular swapping concept. So as a part of the agreement, MMA is eligible for RBI's financing support amounting $400 million under US dollar euro swap window and 3000 crore under INR Indian rupee swap window. So two windows being created, out of which 400 million window is created for US dollars and 3000 crore window is created for the Indian rupee, because we provided certain amount of loan, certain amount of money to Maldives in the form of rupee. So that's the case. Swap window is basically that how much amount of money can be swapped, how much amount of money can be replaced with another currency. So that is called swap window. Suppose, for example, we gave them 5000 crore loan, but out of which only 3000 can be written in the form of swap agreement, in the form of different currency or in the form of their currency. Out of suppose, for example, we gave a $500 million loan, okay, then they will return, out of 500, the $400 million will be under the swap agreement. Rest of the amount will be in dollars only, rest of the amount will be in original currency only. In swap we are having the predetermined conditions. For example, we decide what will be the exchange rate, while if we want to use the swap, then dollar to rupiah or the rupee to rupiah, what will be the exchange rate, that will be fixed. Next, how much amount we are going to accept in the form of swap, that will be also fixed. So everything will be fixed. So $750 million is the overall swap, divided into two parts. One is dollars and the euro, and one is for the rupee, because we provided certain amount of money in the rupee. So obviously they will use their currency to return the money back, and that will be the case over here. So that's it, nothing more. Yesterday I also told you that we signed these swap agreements with Japan. We are having this agreement with the SAARC countries. We are also having this agreement with the European Union. So that is the point which is mentioned in the last lecture. Now we'll move forward. SEBI imposes a fine of 12 lakh on NSE Data and Analytics. NSE, National Stock Exchange. National Stock Exchange having one subsidiary. Subsidiary's name is the NSE Data and Analytics. So what is happening right now, basically, National Stock Exchange, which was created in 1992, India's one of the first national level stock market, they're having one subsidiary for data and analytics. So the employees of this subsidiary are also working in the share market, means National Stock Exchange, and the employees of National Stock Exchange also working with the NSE Data Analytics. So this can create a chaotic situation, because the one person working both the places can breach the data, can create a very chaotic situation. There can be a moral corruption, there can be a very huge problematic situation, and that's why SEBI implemented fine of 12 lakh rupees on NSE Data Analytics. This fine is not on the National Stock Exchange. This fine is on the NSE Data and the Analytics, sorry, because they are working over here. The fine has been imposed for failure of NSE Data Analytics to segregate IT infrastructure and manpower between its and its partner parent firm. Parent firm is NSE. So they were not able to properly segregate the employees working for them and the NSE, the IT infrastructure for them as well as NSE. So there was a mixture. मिलजुल के काम चल रहा. In India we have this mindset. For example, I am creating one company. तो मेरे जो ओरिजिनल कंपनी वहां के एम्प्लॉय वहां भी काम कर रहे हैं, यहाँ का काम वहां भी चल रहा है, वहां का काम यहाँ भी चल रहा है. So we have this habit of doing this thing. This is the Indian mentality. But when it comes to companies, when it comes to this kind of regulators, these things are not allowed. There should be always the separation. There will be always a segregation. Even in the banking sector, even in this market sector or the company's law, there should be always a segregation. I guess these NSE people were not aware about that, but they should be aware about this thing, because they are working in such a huge market. SEBI is directly regulating them. So due to that failure, SEBI imposed a 12 lakh fine on them. So that's it, nothing more in this particular criteria. We'll go to the next news. Next news is very important, very, very important when it comes to the mains exam or the phase 2 exam of the RBI grade B. You can definitely use this as a case study, one of the most progressive case study. HDFC announced the 25% gender diversity goal was met ahead of the schedule. So HDFC is having one plan in their mind that their employee base should have gender equality. So they are working for that. They are working on that particular target. So they kept the target till 2025 that 25% of their workforce should be women, should be from the female background. So what they are talking about, 17,000 women are right now working in HDFC. So they hired 17,000 women in financial year 24. That is their point. So all women branches have also been introduced by the HDFC last time. So year ahead of the schedule, HDFC Bank surpassed its gender diversity aim of having 25%. So they kept the target for 25, financial year 25. Till 25, they will achieve 25% gender diversity, but they achieved this target in 24 only. For 27, they have the target of 27%. That is the target they have right now, okay, for financial year 27. So might be they are going to achieve this target way before the financial years, the way before the target year. So that will be the positive sign. For its 2 lakh workers, 26% are the female employees. Remember that. So 26% employees are already female. So I guess till next year, till year 25, they will achieve this target of 27%. So step by step, they will be having a gender equality in their bank. So they created the all women branches last time, which was the news, which was a question also in one of the exam. Then Parivartan is the name of the foundation created by HDFC, which is very famous, which works on the CSR concept, corporate social responsibility. It is also very much in news many of the time. So remember that. Again, Shashidhar Jagdishan sir is the MD CEO of HDFC Bank, and HDFC Bank is India's right now one of the top most private sector commercial bank, and it is also domestic systematically important bank after SBI. Now the next master stroke saving account has been launched by the Bank of Baroda for the high-end customers. Master stroke. So basically Bank of Baroda hired Sachin Tendulkar as a new brand ambassador. So Bank of Baroda is the government of India's bank. Devdatta Chand sir is the MD CEO of the Bank of Baroda. He is right now implementing many good policies. Like last time we talked about the generative AI system created for the customer named as the Aditi, for the employees named as the Gyan Sahai, as well as a digital branches also launched by the Bank of Baroda. Now they roped in Sachin Tendulkar as the new brand ambassador and started a new saving account called as the Master Stroke. These accounts are only for the high-end customer, not for the normal customer, because the one of the condition of this Master Stroke saving account is that the quarterly average balance should be 10 lakh. In these accounts, the quarterly average balance should be 10 lakh. So of course, high-end customer, not for the other customers, because at least in 3 months you need to maintain the balance of 10 lakh. So quarter end tak 10 lakh ka balance dikhna chahiye account ke andar. So it's a very big account, no doubt about that. It's a flexi account basically. This account will be also used for the different types of investment. Flexi account means this account will work as a savings, as well as this account will be used for the sake of other different type of investment. So in that angle, this account will work. So Master Stroke saving account created by Bank of Baroda by roping Sachin Tendulkar as a new brand ambassador, and these accounts are only for the high-end customers. That will be enough. The next, Asian Development Bank provided loan to Himachal Pradesh for their tourism, for the betterment of their tourism. So they decided to provide $162 million to Himachal Pradesh government. Asian Development Bank was created in 1966. Headquarters is in Philippines. So they are providing loans for many activities. Last time they provided loan to the state of Maharashtra for their health infrastructure. Then state of Maharashtra for the Nagpur metro. They also provided certain amount of money to the Telangana government. They also provided certain amount of fund to government of India for the water management. So these loans are very frequent. This time Himachal Pradesh, Sukhvinder Singh Sukhu sir is the chief minister of the state of Himachal. He is getting this money for better tourism facility. So what exactly the plan is that the state of Himachal Pradesh will creating a new infrastructure to promote the tourism sector. So for that purpose, sustainable and inclusive tourism is the focus and behind these funds, and these funds are provided by the Asian Development Bank, which was created in 1966. 68 member countries are there, headquartered in the Philippines, Manila, and Asakawa is the president of this particular institution. That is very easy. We'll go to the next news. The next news about the Federal Bank has partnered with the Bhashini to enhance chatbot FEDI. FEDI is the AI-based chatbot of Federal Bank. Federal Bank is a private commercial bank headquartered in Aluva. So this bank is having their chatbot named as FEDI. That is the first part. Second part is that recently they decided to having a tie-up with Bhashini. Bhashini is the AI tool created by Government of India with the help of IIT Madras. So Bhashini is a language-based AI tool. So whatever the Indian languages are there, so to translate, so for the real-time translation, this Bhashini AI tool is used. So now Federal Bank is having tie-up with the Bhashini so that this language translation tool will help FEDI to understand the language of the customer, so the customers can communicate with the in different languages. So right now this FEDI is going to work in 14 different Indian languages right now. By the way, Bhashini is created with the help of IIT Madras, as well as Reserve Bank Innovation Hub also played a vital role for the creation of this Bhashini, and Government of India is handling this AI tool for the language translations, for the language betterment, and that's the concept here. That's it. A very simple, straightforward, but at the same time very crucial, because RBI Innovation Hub is involved. Bhashini belongs to Government of India, is an AI based tool. That's why questions will be asked. LIC increased its stakes in Bank of Maharashtra to 7.10 through QIP. So LIC decided to purchase some more shares in Bank of Maharashtra. Bank of Maharashtra is a Government of India's bank. Majority shares of Bank of Maharashtra owned by Government of India, but now LIC purchased few shares from the Bank of Maharashtra through QIP. First, I want to discuss QIP with you. What is QIP? Called as a Qualified Institutional Placement. So what is the meaning of this? A capital raising instrument available to listed companies in India. Capital raising instrument available for the listed companies in India. Suppose my company is listed on the share market. So through this tool or this mechanism, I can raise money from the market. How I am going to raise the money? It allows companies to issue equity shares or securities to convertible into equity shares to qualified institutional buyer at a discounted price compared to the prevailing market price. So there is QIP. I can directly offer shares to certain companies, certain investors. इसको हम प्राइवेट इश्यूज भी कह सकते कि हम सर्टेन कंपनीज को इसे इश्यू कर रहे हैं. मार्केट प्राइस कुछ भी चल रही होगी, बट यहाँ पे डिस्काउंटिंग प्राइस में इनको ऑफर किए जाएंगे और इकट्ठा सारा इन्वेस्टमेंट आपके पास आएगा, सारा इन्वेस्टमेंट एक साथ आपके पास आएगा. दैट इज द मेन पर्पस बिहाइंड दिस. सो क्वालिफाइड इंस्टीट्यूशनल प्लेसमेंट्स के थ्रू इन्वेस्टमेंट्स बहुत आसानी से जल्दी से कंपनीज के पास आता है. दिस इज वन ऑफ द टूल. The companies can issue their shares in the market in the form of FPO, in the form of followed public offering. Like IPOs are already there. Okay, so this is not about IPO because they talked about listed company. Once you issue the IPOs, then your company will be called as a listed company. After that, if you want to come up with the new shares, either you can put those shares directly into the market in the form of FPO, or you can issue those shares directly to the qualified institutional placements. So through that route, Bank of Maharashtra raised certain amount of money from the LIC. So LIC decided to purchase these shares. Now we'll go back to the news. The QIP allotted shares 57.36 each, contributing 3.376% to LIC's new stakes. So in that way, they purchase these shares. That will be enough. For exam point of view, what is QIP matters a lot than who purchased the shares and how much amount of shares being purchased. Rather than that, we should know what is the QIP concept, because examiner will focus mostly on the conceptual part. So that's what we should know. The next news is very important. The collaboration between Google and Adani. This is the new collaboration, and which is going to fetch many questions in the exam. So they are having the collaboration to promote the clean energy. Now, what is this collaboration? Adani and Google came together not for any IT infrastructure. They are coming together for the clean energy. So what exactly the plan is, what exactly the situation is. Now, the project is expected to start commercial operations in the third quarter in 2025. Now, what is the main purpose behind this? This collaboration also aligns with the Google's ambitious goal of achieving 24/7 carbon-free energy for its operations worldwide. Adani Industries is working with the renewable energy, right? Okay. So Google wants to purchase the renewable energy, and they are having one plan. उनका plan ये है कि they want to achieve 24/7 carbon-free energy for all their setup all over the world. So Adani Industries will help them to achieve this target. So the target here is also there. The Google aims to reduce its combined scope 1 to 3 emissions by 50% by 2030. So in 2019, they created a target. 2019, they created a, they announced one thing that by 2030, like more than 50% of their facilities will be using electricity, which will be carbon free. So for that purpose, they signed the agreement with Adani. So Google having huge setup in India. So for those setups, Adani Industries are going to provide the renewable energy sources to them, and that is the main reason. That's why Google and Adani is having tie-up. So Adani Industries having one long-term customer for them. So they will just create the energy, and the customer is already there, and the customer is Google, because they want to achieve some target, and the target will be achieved like this. And for that reason, we are having the agreement. The next news we discussed about this India-US critical mineral agreement. If you remember, we talked about the commerce ministers meeting which was held in Mumbai between the India and the US's commerce minister. In that meeting, critical mineral supply chain will be supported by the USA in this sixth commercial dialogue. So we have 30 critical minerals registered with government of India, whereas USA is having 35 critical mineral concept. Okay, so for that purpose, this agreement is there. It is just for the revision. We already discussed about it 2-3 times. So I hope you know it very well. Okay, that is only for the supply chain purposes. We'll go to the next part. The godfather of AI, named as Geoffrey Hinton and the John Hopfield, win the Physics Nobel. So yesterday in the afternoon, Physics Nobel were announced by the Swedish authorities, and the Physics Nobel for this year is to machine learning creators, those who created machine learning, those who created a premise for the AI. So father of AI is named as, godfather of AI is known as the Geoffrey Hinton. So he basically created this concept. So he's a Geoffrey Hinton. He is a British Canadian computer scientist, whereas John Hopfield, when you talk about the John Hopfield, he's an American physicist. They both got this award again for machine learning and the artificial neural system. Artificial neural system, human being having nervous system. So same type of system artificially, AI is using that only. AI is basically artificial neural system only. So they created this concept, and for that purpose, they got the Physics Nobel for this year. That will be enough right now for the exam point of view. Let's go to a few questions. We'll just talk about few questions in the form of revision. Whatever we have discussed right now, so MCQs are depending on that only. So first MCQ on your screen. Give me the answer. According to CII Business Confidence Index increased to 2-quarter high level of how much in quarter 2 of the current fiscal year? So give me the answer of this. 67.6%, 68.2%, 69.3%, 70.1%, 71.8%. So answer of this, which we have discussed in the beginning of this session. So answer is 68.2% is the answer of this particular question. Okay. So आगे बढ़ते हैं. We'll go to the next question. RBI has entered into currency swap agreement with which of the following countries' monetary authority? So which of the following countries' monetary authority we signed currency swap agreement? It's very simple. Just now we discussed this news 2 times yesterday as well as today. So answer is of course Maldives. So $750 million. This swap agreement is in 2 forms. One window is for US or the European currency, and one window is for the rupee. The next question, SEBI imposed fine of how much on the NSE data and analytics? So how much amount fine being imposed by the SEBI on NSE data and analytics because of lack of segregation between the manpower and the IT infrastructure between the NSE and NSE data analytics? So answer is the fine amount of 12 lakh rupees. Okay, we'll go to the next question. Which bank has made 25% gender diversity goal ahead of its schedule? This bank planned that till the financial year 25, they will achieve 25% gender diversity, but they achieved it before the particular target year. They have the target of 27% gender diversity till financial year 27, but they are going to achieve that also way before their target year. So answer is yes, HDFC Bank. Last question. Master Stroke Saving Account has been launched by which of the following bank? Master Stroke Saving Account is recently launched by which of the following bank? This account is only for the high-end customer because quarterly you need to maintain 10 lakh rupees in this account. This will be the flexi account, and Sachin Tendulkar is the new brand ambassador for this. So answer is Bank of Baroda. Okay, that's it, guys. Few questions are there in the PDF which I will share on Telegram channel, so from where you can go through these things. That's all from my side for the day. We'll see you in the next lecture. We'll see you in the tomorrow's session. Till that time, bye bye, take care.